Let's get to it. 1, 2, 3. Just give some more. Clap your hands. Give some more. Just give some more.
Well, hello and welcome to My Whiskey Den, your favorite public access whiskey review show where craft whiskey is king, and we are 110% behind that tonight. We are bringing you another unique whiskey that is coming from our friends at Catoctin Creek. But before we go any further, Mike, what do we tell these lovely people?
Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit that bell notification to find out when new episodes are coming out. Don't forget to join us every Monday night. Pretty much every Monday night is a live episode in our Evening With series.
That is true. And coming up, we will, I think it's the 15th. Is it the 15th? We're going to be having these people on, Becky and Scott. Am I right?
I believe so. I could check the calendar and verify that.
No, I think I'm right. I think they're up next. We're filling up into April, so some things are getting stacked in old Duder's head. But I'm smart enough to remember that's who we're having on. That's why we're tasting this right now. Now, before we go any further for 1 second, I just want to take a second and give a little shout out to our friend Mitch Weddle. We're hoping everything is going well with you, and we're all hoping everything works out. I don't want to give too much information, but yeah, man, that's not fun, and we hope everything's going well. So everyone at cheers, everyone at home, give a cheers up to Mitch. We all know you know him, you love him, and we hope everything's going well with you, buddy. So yep. Cheers. Cheers. Ooh, that's cheating. I didn't even smell it. I'm just drinking this. All right. Now, Ben, this is another one you picked up. So why don't you show that fancy bottle with the lovely orange label, because you do not see orange labels very often, except you get around Halloween time with beer.
It's not a green rye label.
No.
So what can you tell us about this one, Ben? Because I'm excited about it, even though I already sipped it a second ago.
It's another one of their handcrafted small batch ryes, coming in at 92 proof, 46%. It's 100% rye, and they've barrel aged it for about 3 years. They just say a few years, so I'm assuming about around 3 years. And then they're dumped into a combination of Cabernet, Zinfandel, and Merlot barrels, where they're finished before they're blended back together.
And those are all reds, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And they're all, as far if I remember right. Well, no, never mind. I was thinking they might be from Virginia wines, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
That's fair. We'll let them answer that when we get to that point. We don't want to be horribly wrong on that, but that's a unique finishing system. I was going to say not that they finish in wines, but 3 different reds and kind of bringing them back together. And each of those reds has a little different play to it. I'm going to say on the nose, just since I went to it just now, I can get a little bit of the Zinfandel just on the nose. There's this nice brightness coming out of it, but it's hidden. Oh, man. I shouldn't have had to sip first, because this is another densely in the middle, rich whiskey.
What's fantastic, though, I think, is as much as some of the wine notes sleep out, the rye is that earthy rye that they're known for. It's still there. It
is. That's definitely the backbone of what you're smelling, but you're getting some other edges here. This is one of those ones where I would like, in probably not going to happen ever, but to have some of the wine and taste it along with it to see what you're picking up and picking out, and like what comes on and off from each of them when they finished in it. Only because I'm not a wine sommelier and I'm not big into wine, and I need to be better at it. That's just
so I'm getting, like, just initially I get a really, really sweet pipe tobacco, but then I'm getting leather notes, but it's like the kind of leather if you walked into a leather goods store. I almost said leather shop, but that's totally different.
No, but I know what you mean, like a leather store that has a lot of it.
A lot of finished leather, a lot of, and it's just, Yeah, but that's just that sweet pipe tobacco that I get. But then it's all the fruits from the wines.
Yes,
that
I was gonna say I get a lot of different berries. I mean, I'm getting cherry, I'm getting strawberry, raspberry, a lot of red berry notes.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's mostly reds. It's not any of the dark notes, which would make sense from red wine. But I'm just saying you're not getting any deeper, richer notes from it in my mind. That would lead you towards a stone fruit or anything.
I get a little bit of that red wine barrel must, maybe a touch of what I would consider like a French oak style note.
Yeah, I get the spice, but nothing really oaky.
Not dominant, no.
I would the mustiness is a little more dominant than the oak, and not to say it's dominant, but like it's a bigger factor.
Yeah.
This is another one. What the hell is this? 46.
46.
I need a 70 that I can't stick my nose in, and we need something that's just astringent as hell in the next couple days, because we keep landing on these ones where I can just jam my nose into the bottom of this and almost stick some like right underneath my nose, and it's not bugging me in any way, shape, or form. And I feel like this one, I think it's because I don't know my wines well enough. I think I'm hunting on this a little bit more than I should be for flavors. Like, you got the berries, but I think I'm hunting for other smells just because I'm a little unsure.
And Mike, you nailed the pipe tobacco note, man. That's
See, man, this is another one on the palate. It's not thin, but it's light, and light as in subtle, because it's not overly done, but then it's pushing forward, and the sweetness is then crawling towards the front of the mouth, and then but it's like it hit the mid, and then now, I mean, it's literally now right on the edge of my tongue, all the sweetness, and that spice is coming back, and it's just. There's just a little bit of pepper to it, but man, what's on the front, what's on the tongue? I mean, yeah, it's berries galore.
It's like it kind of rolls like a wave, just slowly rolling in, just keeps coming.
I mean, this is one, like, especially if you had somebody who's like, I don't know, not that we know anyone who's got a problem with rye, but this would be one to give them and not tell them it's a rye.
I was going to say, too, because typically 100% rye, I'm expecting to get punched a little bit with some spice and just the typical rye notes that you expect. This is just easy, like Sunday morning kind of thing. I mean, man, sit back and sip on this all day long.
Like you were saying, it's not thin, but before I swallow, when I'm moving it around my mouth, it almost feels more like a wine before I swallow. Like it feels easier. It feels easier to push around. You're getting the flavors. I like what you said, Mike, where it almost feels like halfway through, sweetness rolls forward, and like the other stuff rolls to the back. A little bit of the oak, a little bit of the spice, other stuff going on, pushes to a whole different side of the tongue. That's neat.
Man, I get a little bit of chocolate and cherry and a little bit of orange coming in there too. And I'm tasting that rye that I'm familiar with Catoctin Creek from the Roundstone Rye. I'm getting some of the notes that I'm like, okay, that's the rye. I can taste their rye, their house style of rye that they got here. But
I think I like the chocolate
so
orange.
Well married with the wine notes.
But that chocolate orange for me, I wasn't as expecting as much where I was getting it. Because when you bring it up to your nose, you start getting those berry notes. And I think that's what's hitting that first part of my sensory is like going, ooh, berries. And like you said, you are getting a chocolate orange that was actually pretty prominent like halfway through there.
Yeah. This is extremely delightful.
Yeah.
And it's just a hint of heat and a little bit of spice on the tail end right before you swallow. Like, it is small. It really doesn't ramp up much, but it's just enough there to let you know that I think the rye is there. But like you said, Ben, it's really just, I don't want to say background, because I think it's the, how about not backbone instead of background. It's the backbone of what's going on.
Yeah.
And you can tell that, but it is not. It's not being dominant or a killer in any way, shape, or form.
No, there's nothing dominant.
Like you said, that sweet pipe tobacco is I think my favorite smell on this.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm getting that for me, the finish just sits on the back of my throat. Like I've got some notes coming through the mouth, but it's like it's just sitting on the back of my tongue, back of my throat.
Yeah.
And some of that is this pipe tobacco note. There's a little bit of an earthiness to it. I feel like I'm getting some kind of spice similar to what we got in the other Catoctin Creek, maybe like the turmeric or something like that. There's a funky spice going on back there that I'm trying to nail down. And then you have these sweet notes. It's just like kind of wrap the cheeks around the side of the tongue.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
it's still, the finish is still going. It's made itself known pretty well. And it just, the way it is, it's just still sweetness. It's fading, but it's still up there in the front. And then, that spice that's on there.
That's just weird. This is like, remember that the border bourbon we did, Mike, where it had that weird finish. This is one where I just, like you said, the separation of the flavors on my tongue is so weird, because it's like I could pull my tongue out halfway and show you where the sweetness stopped and everything else went backwards. Like there's a definitive line across my tongue.
It's just making.
Well, getting kicked off now.
It's just a fun. This one's a fun experience. You just sit back and take it all in from sip through finish, swallow. Just every part of it is just absolutely delightful. Really good. I love the way the wine casks are really married with the rye, because it's not like one dominates the other necessarily.
True.
They're integrated really well. And because sometimes I've sipped some finished whiskeys that, I feel like the whiskey is over here and the wine note is over here, and they're just not together. And this one, it just feels like everything is just really well put together.
How many different wines again did it finish?
3 different wines. So you got Cabernet, Zinfandel, and Merlot.
And I was going to say, I can tell the Zinfandel, but I was going to say, and the Cab might be a little bit of where that spiciness is in parts, but I'm like you said, if you hadn't told me, I never would have been able to pick those out. Like on here where it says red wine finish. That was good for me. I wouldn't have been able to go deeper than that.
Red. Red wine.
Red wine. That's that stuff.
Man, I'm starting to get like blueberry skins coming in. Like if you popped a handful of blueberries in your mouth, you chewed them up, you swallowed it, and you got some of the skin left kind of in your mouth. You're trying to chew and get down, and it's just got that little bit of blueberry, and sprinkle that with tobacco again, and that's what the finish is now for me. It's amazing, because I feel like every time I take a sip, something just changes. Something's different. I'm digging the pipe tobacco note with the berries. Like you're in 2 of my favorite realms where you get a little tobacco smokiness, but there are so many like berry flavors just coming up on the nose when you go to it. It's exciting, and like you said, mostly red berries on the nose, but it like adjusts your brain for something, and then it's not like it's horribly far off, but it's not quite what it rolls over the tongue. This is one also that I would like to see at a higher proof. You know what I mean? I'm just wondering what happens at 55, 56%. Does one of the barrels of like that was finished and start to become a little more dominant?
I don't know. I think it's right. I think it'd be fun to try it at a higher proof, but I think it's not one where I would be like, boy, I sure wish this was higher proof. I'd like to try it at higher proof, but I think they got a nice whiskey.
It was like dancing goat for me. I'm really happy with what you have out, but I wouldn't mind trying a higher proof one.
Yeah.
And when we first had that, I was like, that's nice. Wonder what happens up here. But right here, I'm happy with drinking every day. Right. Which is where I think we're at with this one. This is the nose is just fun. The nose is fun for me. I don't normally have that.
Yeah.
So
Palate's fun too.
all right. Well, like we were saying, this is another one we like from them. And it's just it's a little bit different rye. It's friendlier for those of you that don't like anus, black licorice. It's
I don't like what, Patrick?
but hey, I said how I feel about it, and it's just it's not my bag, and it's not in here very much at all. So this is really enjoyable for me.
No, just well done.
Fair enough. And oh hell, Ben, do you want to take us home tonight?
Yeah. Craft whiskey is king. Booyah.
Cheers, everyone out there.
Let's get into it. 1, 2, 3. Let's get some more. Have it in. Get some more. Just get some more.